Mr. Griffith, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chairman McGovern and Ranking Member Cole, for allowing me the opportunity to discuss my amendment in the nature of a substitute that provides the appropriate alternative to DC statehood. I have constitutional questions, as do many, about the creation of a state from land that was ceded by another state for a particular purpose. The land that was ceded to form Washington, D.C. was donated with the particular purpose of creating a federal district for the common good. The two states, Virginia and Maryland, that donated the land to create the District of Columbia did not do so with the intent of creating a new state. After the land ceded by Virginia was not used for the capital's public buildings or other major federal installations, Congress passed a retrocession bill, which was signed by the president in 1846. Though the Supreme Court has never adjudicated the merits of the case of the District of Columbia's previous retrocession to the Commonwealth of Virginia, it does seem to me that it is possible to rejoin donated lands to the original state from which they came, but not to create a completely new entity. That is why I have settled on retrocession as the most practical course of action. My solution to this constitutional conundrum finds its solution in the Constitution, in the plain language of Article 1 that requires no minimum size for the federal seat of government. Shrinking the seat of government and returning the rest of the land that's not used and was not previously given back to Virginia to Maryland for the purposes of representation offers DC residents a voice in the federal legislative branch, and it keeps faith with Maryland's original cessation of land or cession of land for DC and works within the bounds of the Constitution. My substitute amendment would fulfill the goal of ensuring that all DC residents are fully represented in Congress, but in a manner that does not go against the spirit of the Constitution. I have also taken great care to make the retrocession as smooth as possible and have drafted it in such a way as to make DC residents and government employees whole. It provides for the transfer of administrative functions from DC to Maryland, such as the criminal justice system and court systems and DC governmental property. This amendment, along with other things in it, merges the DC and Maryland National Guards units and makes DC retirees whole through continued retiree payments and college students whole through the continuation of tuition assistance. My amendment would efficiently unwind the District of Columbia's obligations in a manner that threads the needle between a constitutionally unsound statehood bid and the continuation of a status quo, which folks have complained about, and I think rightfully so, that they are taxed without representation. The founders' reasons for creating a separate seat of government still have merit. As then Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy noted back in the 60s, not the original founding, it was indispensably necessary to the independence of the very existence of the new federal government to have a seat of government which was not subject to the jurisdiction or control of any state. My bill respects this fact while also giving DC residents a voice in Congress. I appreciate your consideration. I'm happy to answer questions. There are lots of other questions that are out there that you may ask, but I will tell you, it's kind of like that old TV commercial where they asked about the spaghetti sauce, and they said, when they asked about it, the response always was, it's in there. We've got it covered. If you have a question, it's in there. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that the committee might have.
Well, we asked lots of questions in the previous panel, but in case anyone does, if you could stick around, that'd be great. I now